What is a situation in your life that has shifted your own perspective on how you view life now?
Sure. So, a perspective that changed my entire life, I would say, would be the game of football. Um, I've learned so many lessons, I can't even count on my hands, on my fingers, how many lessons I've learned. So, my career started at Holy Cross, which was my grade school, where really small school. There was only like 15 kids on the team. So all my friends would play, and growing up, I'd always want to play football, and my dad never let me play football because I was too small. He was worried about me getting hurt. So, eighth grade comes around, and it's like my last year of school. So, my dad finally let me play football on the team, and I was just so excited. The season went really well. I did not play really any snaps. I was the water boy. I played on the bench and never really saw the field. So, whatever, I graduated Holy Cross, and in the summer, me and my two friends, shout out Nolan and Brendan, we were on our bikes and we went to the field where the younger kids were practicing at the Holy Cross field. And I remember being on my bike and talking to my old coach, saying, Nolan, are you going to play football? Brian, are you going to play football? And they both said yes. And then the question went to me, Michael, are you going to play football? I'm like, no, I mean, I didn't even play on this team with 15 kids. Like, why would I even play at Deerfield where there's going to be over 50 kids playing? My coach told me that I should play, I should give it a shot, I should play. And that you never know what you're going to get out of it. And that you give it a try, and if you quit, so what? You at least tried it. You got a taste for it. So I went home on my bike, and I then registered to play football, and I emailed who I needed to email, and I started summer camp. I went to summer camp, and I was the smallest kid on the team. I was put on the B team. Didn't even play on the B team, so obviously I didn't think football was for me. But the off season came around, and I really didn't know if I was also a basketball player, and I didn't know if I wanted to play football or basketball. I knew that I had to get bigger, so I decided to spend my time in the weight room and start working out. I started working out, and that gave me a lot of confidence, and come summertime, the summer camp for sophomore year, I ended up playing very well, and my coach Mitrin gave me a chance at starting at the cornerback position. And in summer camp, I was doing so well that I started playing wide receiver as well. Come towards the end of the camp, I was doing so well, and Coach Mitrin really believed in me. He put me on the varsity team to practice with them. And I was just a kid that never played a real snap in football. I was never used to the game speed. I just really didn't know a lot about the game, but Coach Mitrin really just gave me that belief, and next thing you know, I'm practicing with the varsity team. So that just gave me a lot of confidence and belief in my ability to do whatever I set my mind to do. So sophomore year comes around, and I'm on the sophomore team, and I'm playing both wide receiver and cornerback. And I remember the first game came around, and I scored the first touchdown of the season for the team. And I just remember that moment so well, because I just remember thinking about all the hard work I put in, all the dedication, all the hours in the hot summer, just practicing on the field, catching balls. And to this day, that's still my favorite touchdown, and just still resonates with me to this day, because it's just like the staple of my foundation of just hard work and dedication. Sophomore year, I ended up actually playing. I never left the field. I would always stay on the field, wide receiver, corner, special teams, really just never left the field, and just grew this deep passion and love for the game, because it just taught me at a young age this concept of hard work and dedication, and you can really do anything you set your mind to. So, sophomore year ends, next year you're playing for a varsity spot, and I remember the two older kids were going to be seniors, I was going to be a junior. So I was back in this state of mind that I had to outwork someone. I had to work harder than them in the weight room, any opportunity I could, whether that be in the weight room, stretching, doing yoga, studying the game, just really any way you can. There's nothing really too great about my varsity years, but I mean, I just was just a very decent football player. I remember at the end of junior year that I had this idea of playing Division I football. I thought that was a realistic goal, and a lot of people didn't believe me. No one did, besides myself, maybe a couple friends, but I just really wanted to bet on myself and bet on that you can do anything you set your mind to. So junior year summer comes around, I go to all these camps around the nation, Northwestern, Indiana. I went to some southern camps as well. And at the Indiana camp, it went really well. I just remember going to the camp and talking to the coaches after, and they put me in contact with one of the coaches. And they were recruiting me all throughout junior year, off season, or going into senior year. And they were telling me that we're going to just keep watching you, and they kept texting me this and that. They had me for a visit. Senior year comes around, and really nothing too special about the season. Everything goes well. I'm getting a lot of interest from just smaller D3, D2 schools, and that never really drew my attention because obviously I had this dream where I wanted to play Division I football. To backtrack a little bit, I remember writing a note to my future self when I graduate high school that I would be a Division I football player because I just set out the goal. And senior year comes around, the season ends. It was a great season. Sad ending, still remember that. And Indiana's still in contact with me, and all these D3, D2 schools wanted to come visit me in school, and I remember telling my head coach, no, it just does not interest me. It's short of my goal. And so the plan was with Indiana, I was not going to be a scholarship player, but they would have me on for a walk-on tryout. So here's this huge risk. Do I start paying attention to these smaller schools, go to the smaller schools, and come short of my dream and my goal? Or do I take the risk without a guaranteed spot and go try to play at Indiana? So I apply to school at Indiana, I get accepted, I let the coaches know, they say, great, we're going to have you on a tryout in August when you come. And I told D3 schools, just no, not interested. So spring of my senior year, I am just working every day, every night in the weight room with speed coaches, just non-stop working, chasing the dream of just being a Division I football player. So many hours on and off the field. I mean, I would wake up and every living second I would be working hard at, whether that be eating right, working out, catching footballs, watching film, watching Indiana's players, what they were doing in high school, and get to the tryout come August, and I'm ready to go. I mean, my confidence is through the roof. No one could tell me I wasn't going to make the team. Going to college, I get to college, and I'll just say how the tryout day went. Or actually, no, there's actually some good stuff. I remember freshman year, tryout was last week of August, and I remember getting to school at middle August, and I didn't have anyone to catch balls with, so I had my friend Evan and Ethan. Shout out Evan and Ethan. I would go to just open fields at the campus, and they would literally just throw me balls, and they weren't the greatest quarterbacks, but I mean, just anything to stay ready for this tryout. I remember I actually ended up having one of my sisters, Chrissy and Mary, two older sisters, they went to the school, so they had a few connections, and they found a frat kid that played quarterback in high school. He was all state, so we actually ended up getting a lot of good work in there. And again, night before the tryout, I'm catching balls, doing this, everything, just getting my mind right. Really just making sure I'm sharp, ready to go. I remember waking up that morning, and I mean, that was just the day. That was the day of just like years. I mean, hours just in the weight room, on the field. It's accumulation. And I had so many people that believed in me in that day. Not so many, but I had my handful, my 2 coaches and a few friends that just always believed in me. And going into that day, I remember tweeting out, "All things are possible to him who believes, and I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." And shut off my phone for the day and go to the tryout, get driven to the tryout, walk in, and just being so confident in my ability. Looking around, everyone was bigger than me, everyone was a little stronger, and tryout comes around, we're all getting ready. It was a basic workout, just speed ladder, just running some routes, routine routes. And towards the end of the tryout, they were cutting kids. They were like telling kids, "You're done, you didn't make the team," this and that. And as I'm looking around, like, there's like 5, 6 kids left, and I'm still standing. I'm like, it's just like, you're almost there, like, it's within reach. And I remember the coaches were just like, they loved me so much. They were calling me Sticky. They were like, "Sticky, Sticky," like, because when you throw, it's like a name for a receiver on his gloves. It's like you don't drop balls, I guess. So I just remember catching every ball. I mean, just running routes right in front of the coaches, just having so much confidence. Get to the end of the tryout, and the coaches say, "All right, we're going to call you today if you make the team. And if you didn't make the team, you're not going to get a call from us." And I have school that day. I have a class. So I end up leaving, thanking the coaches, this, that, and leaving, going to class. I don't have my phone on in class, but I check in the middle of class, and I see a missed call from the coach. I'm like, and I look at the clock, and I have like 20 minutes out of class left in class. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, did I just make the team? Like, did this happen? Like, my dream of like 4 years, 5 years of hard work, just dedication, it's like, it's right there. Like, did I do it? And I missed the call. I don't know, missed the call. And I remember just getting out of that classroom and running out. No one knew why I was running out. It's like out of a movie scene. Like I'm not saying I did it, but it was ready to go. The call, run out of the classroom, call the coach back. I'm like, "Hello, Michael." I'm like, "Hello, coach, how are you?" He's like, "Good." He's like, "So you're the only kid I'm doing this for." I'm like, "Okay." And he goes, "We're going to put you on a wait list because you were the best receiver at the tryout, but we just do not need a receiver. So if any receiver gets hurt, you're going to be called up and you're going to be on the team." So I'm there, and I'm just like, are you kidding me? Like, my goal is within reach. Just, you can grab it. Like, I wasn't hurt because it wasn't a positive or a negative. I was just put in a situation, like, just a weird situation. It's like, all right, like, I'm not on the team, but they're staying in contact with me. And I just remember walking back to my dorm room and just like confused. And my response was, all right, I'm just gonna continue to work, and God will reward me in ways that God will reward me. So I remember like a couple of days go by, I'm like, "Hello, coach, is anyone getting hurt, or did anyone get hurt?" He's like, no, I'll call you if anyone gets hurt." Game 1 goes by, I'm like watching the game, seeing if any receiver gets hurt. No one gets hurt. Another week goes by. I text him and he's like, no, no one's gotten hurt, this and that. Weeks go by and I mean, this was the lowest point of just my story with football. I mean, I just remember like going to school during the day and running to gyms at night in the dark, going alone, just really betting on myself, believing in myself, and really still believing in a dream that just a dream that I wanted so bad, and just to like prove everyone wrong and to know I was just so close but I still had a chance. Like I was just chasing that, and I was just, yeah, just tough times, but um, we'll take a break. I had an awesome roommate in Indiana, Ethan. Always just gave me positive advice, always positive outlooks on life and everything. And I just remember being down so bad and just knowing that I had that dream within reach still. I just remember just calling the coach, blowing his phone up, like texting him, like, Coach, like I will prove you so right. You will be the greatest decision that you will ever make. Like, I have that work ethic. I have straight A's in all my classes right now. And long story short, they told me we're going to keep in contact with you and we're going to try you out again in the spring. So I'm still in this weird boat where I'm not on the team. They didn't say no, but I can continue to chase this dream that I've had for years now. So come springtime, I'm still working out, and come springtime, I'm still working out, and the trial was going to be around April, and I'm still in contact with the coach. Come springtime, the pandemic hits, throwing a curveball towards our entire world, and now I'm in this boat, like, do I even want to stay in Indiana? Like, do I want to continue this football dream? Like, do I want to transfer? Like, just all these mixed thoughts and opinions on what I should do. And this is where one of my good friends, Dimitri, comes in the story. My friend Dimitri had not the same story, but he had a similar story where he was going to go to school at Oregon. It didn't work out, so he started playing basketball overseas. And he was playing in Greece for a little bit, and it didn't work out. So now me and Dimitri are like in similar boats, you know, like, do we continue playing? Like, do I still chase my dream? Does he still continue playing? He had back problems, so he had a limit on himself. And I mean, if anyone knows how a sport is, it's just constant. Every day you're working out, this, that. So if your heart's not in it, it's just impossible to continue playing. So we're in like these similar boats. Like, do we keep going? Like, what do we do? So my friend Dimitri, he goes to Loyola. He ended up going to Loyola before I did. And I said, I'm not going to go back to Indiana. It's just so hard to just continue chasing this dream. I feel like I'm maturing, I'm getting older, and it's just like, even if I do end up playing, like, be like somewhat realistic with yourself. You're 5'10", 160 pounds. You're not faster than anyone on the team. You're not stronger. And that's when I said, that's when I said it's time, and it's just time to just focus on the next thing in life. So Dimitri's at Loyola, and he ends up telling me, okay, like, why don't you just come to Loyola? And I got into like Texas and a couple other schools, and I was ready to go to Texas. I'm like, I'll just go to Loyola with my best friend. Why not? So go to Loyola, and there's not really too much to the story, but I ended up at Loyola, and I ended up starting a small business, custom QR cards. The name's going to change soon. And that's when I'm looking back now on my football career and journey. And I've just learned so many things looking back on it that, I mean, I'm just so blessed and thankful that I can look back and say I learned this and that. I mean, there's so many valuable things in that story. It's starting from when I was in 8th grade, my coach telling me, just give it a try. If you don't like it, quit. To me in life, that is the reason why I started my first business. It is, all right, I have an idea, like, why not? Just try it. Just go for it. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That was the founding points of my football career. And now it's the founding points of my business, entrepreneurial career. Just also understanding that sometimes your goal is not what is meant to be, but the things that you learn and you go through on that way towards the goal are things that you are required for your destiny. So just reflecting and looking back on my football career, you have to change your perspective and just understand that God has a plan for everyone. And if I could tell myself, my younger self, something, it would be that trust God's plan and that He has a plan for you.
Compare your mindset and just like yourself before your whole football career till after your football career.
It's a good one. Again, my football career started in 8th grade, so I mean, I was just a little running around in my career. I mean, my perspective changed so much. I mean, and my values and my goals. God has a plan for you, and that you need to just trust His plan. And that just to always just find the positives in things and just keep going and just never give up. As I'm getting older, I'm just looking back and understanding like how many positives I have taken from just my football career and everything I've learned from it. Yeah, so that's the story of football. By the way, I'm not the best talker, especially to camera. My sister,
He's doing amazing.
props to her, like talking to a ring light in a dark room and a camera with a kid with ADHD, like I just can't do it. But this, like, I don't know how she speaks to camera. And I just want to also take time on this video and saying like my sister is the hardest worker ever, and
Aww.
I'm just so like proud of her. Like this setup is just awesome, and I just am so excited for her and her journey, and she's gonna do amazing things and have so many impacts on people's lives. And I hope my story, said in a horrible way, like, in a slow way, just really impacts people. And not that it's some legendary story, but it's just my story. And
That's all that
yeah.
matters. So I know you gave some advice, but if you look through this lens, there is some kid or just someone watching this. So what is one thing that you would like to say that to that person?
Dream bigger than you can imagine and take actions on those dreams. Never stop believing. God has a plan for you, and it will all work out.